A lot of times we think we know what our lives should look like at a conscious level, and yet as we begin to reflect on the quality of our lives, there seems to be a disconnect and distance between our reality and our thoughts. And that can be very disturbing and discouraging to a lot of people because you don't understand how it's possible to know what you want and get the opposite. And I'm going to try and explain how that happens. You see, most of the time we are consciously present to know what we want in the moment, but we don't take the time to then filter the conversations we are having in our minds or head. We are not present to recognize that in the same frame in which we have developed or generated a good idea, we have also borrowed some data and or conversations from the reality of our past experiences, and this is the unconscious state. You see, your unconsciousness or your unconscious state is a reservoir of all your past experiences, conversations, engagements, setbacks, traumas, feelings, and all things that happened and have not been addressed. They become a part of you unconsciously by default because you have just accepted them without taking the time to consider whether or not they will be useful. And anytime you are not present to decide whether or not a conversation, an event, or an activity is something that you want, you automatically accept participation and or contribution towards that event by default. And this is why until you learn to sit with yourself as and when you are generating ideas, to recognize as and when you are also sabotaging yourself by way of coming up with excuses within the same frame where you're trying to generate new ideas. And I'll give you an example of how we do that. Sometimes we tell ourselves that it's time for us to go back to the gym. And as soon as we say that, there is going to be another response that quickly comes up and say, but there is no gym that is closer to where we stay, or that we can't find a gym that is within our budget. You know, that conversation seems and sounds very innocent, and yet that is you unconsciously sabotaging the progress that you're trying to make. And that's the same thing that we do even with relationships. We see someone that we like, and consciously we say, but we like this person and we should pursue them. And unconsciously, because of the history of betrayal and abuse, there is another conversation that happens within that same space, and that discourages the pursuit of that relationship. Sometimes we say things like, but you know that people are always lying. You can't trust these people. And without realizing it, you have sabotaged yourself. And so you need to be present to recognize that you are discouraging yourself just as much as you are trying to develop and pursue a more meaningful life. And why are you discouraging yourself? It's because of the reality of unresolved issues, traumas, setbacks, disadvantages, and all things negative that you have not taken the time to unpack and redefine as you begin to recreate a new narrative that is empowering to you. A narrative that acknowledges your virtues, a narrative that sees you as an independent individual who is capable of pursuing and accomplishing greatness out of life. I need you to take the time to sit with yourself the next time you're trying to develop and generate an idea, and be present to notice how soon you are willing to dismiss your ideas or disqualify yourself. And you may never understand why you're doing that. And this is why I'm telling you that you do that because of the reality of unresolved issues that you are harboring. Your unconsciousness is carrying a lot of all the things that you have not taken the time to resolve, to address, to confront. The memories of your pain, your setbacks, your neglect and abandonment experiences, the memories of the financial traumas, the memories of the bullying, the memories of all the times you were disqualified, all the times you were not chosen or picked when you were playing with your peers and you were supposed to be picked so that you could be playing for one of the teams or one of the sides. All those memories are present with you wherever you go, and they become the point of contact as and when you're trying to find an excuse and a reason to not change the quality of your life. you become a victim of your unconsciousness. You become a victim of the reality of the things that you have not taken the time to address from the past. And until you do that, it is not possible for you to then offer new suggestions to your unconsciousness. And the only way to do that is by creating room, by removing, by decluttering, by deconstructing narratives, conversations, ideas, beliefs, and values from the past that are not ideally serving you today. And the way to know which ones are not serving you is by taking the time to sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions. For how long have I believed in this? And what has it done for me? What is the evidence in my life that I truly believe in this and that this thing works? Have I done enough to pursue this belief and value? What have I done to honor it? And what have I received or what have I gotten back from the pursuit of trying to develop and form a healthy connection with this belief? And any belief, any value, any narrative that you don't identify with in your life in a positive way, it's highly possible that it has been negatively impacting the quality of your life.